Good morning, Spartans. This tutorial is for my new Exploratory Photoshop class. You guys have already practiced the project that you're going to be doing today. I am absent, as you know. Hopefully you have your earbuds so that you can listen to the video. And if you have that, you're going to be doing pretty well. Just remember, pause the video, do the steps, replay things that you don't understand. But I think you'll be fine because, again, you'll have already practiced on the block day on Wednesday, October 15th. And that, by the way, is the day I'm recording this video. So, without further ado, first of all, let's go back here to my website. Just to be clear, you're going to be finding this video here, and you'll already know that because you're listening to the video right now. But for future use, just remember, go to the video tutorials, and also there's going to be a list. You're going to find the selection tool picture on this list. You don't see it yet, but it will be there. Okay, so let's go ahead and do Command N. You're going to do your first initial, last name, underscore, and you're going to call this selection picture. This is our first project. Now, first thing you're going to want to do is change the width to 5 and the height to 5. After you do that, make sure you notice inches. If you do 5 and then you change it to pixels, it will be, oh, actually, let me see. Resolution should be 72. Okay, let's do that again. Now, if you change it to inches, after you type in the number, then you might have a problem. So just make sure you change the units first, then change the number. So I have 5 inches, 72 pixels per inch. Also, it wouldn't hurt to just check to make sure it says RGB color, 8-bit, white background. Okay? Click OK, and you will see that you have a 5-inch canvas. Now, you notice that my Photoshop is a CS6, a more recent version. You have CS3, but everything we do will be possible with your CS3 older version, so don't panic. The interface is just a little bit different. Got a dark background. Yours is a grayer background. Again, everything's going to work just the same. Now, the marquee tool is where we will begin, just like in our practice. Letter M on the keyboard is the hotkey. It will access this tool. As soon as you click, hold, and drag, you will get a series, or not a series, but an appearance of a rectangle that has a dashed, almost like a moving dashed line making up that shape. We call this marching ants. That's sort of the nickname because that's kind of what it looks like. It looks like little ants marching around the perimeter of that rectangle. Now, up here in the options bar, again, the option bar gives you an option of tweaking the tool. Any tool that you use will change to accommodate that tool. And in this case, you see the small little rectangle here. That shows you that you are indeed using the marquee tool. But up here, we have, if you hover over it, it says New Selection. That just means if you were to click and drag out another rectangle, the first one disappears and a new one shows up. A new one. That's why they call it a new selection. Now, if you don't want it to disappear and you want to add on to it, then you would choose the second mode. The second mode says, when you hover over it, Add to Selection. So I'm going to click that, and I'm going to go ahead and add another shape. And you can see that now we have 2 rectangles. I can continue adding more. I can even overlap, and when I let go, it sort of fuses those three together, doesn't it? Look at the cursor now. Notice that there's a plus sign next to the cursor. The plus sign, as you know, means that you're adding. If you want to eliminate some of these, you can go to the next icon over, and it says subtract from selection. So I'm going to click on that one, and you notice a minus sign as I bring my cursor in view. Okay? What does that do? Well, as it implies, click and drag, and if you overlap any portion of the previous selections, it will subtract away in the same shape that you give it. So here's a little shape, and where it overlaps, it will eliminate those selections. You can make sort of a hole inside a shape, as I'm doing here. Now, if you subtract somewhere that isn't a selection, like I'm doing now, well, nothing happens, does it? Because you're not really subtracting anything. If you want to re-add things, then you just go back to add to. Now, this next selection over here, this next option says intersect. I don't use this very often. In fact, rare or none at all. But here's what it does. So if I click and drag, look at that little intersection there, that small little rectangle. If I let go, you just get the intersection. But I find that there's no reason to use that. So I'm just going to do Command Z. Command Z undoes the last step you did. If you hold down Command and Option and hit the letter Z, and you do that again and again and again, then you'll go back in time, so to speak. You'll go back to some of those other steps. But it only goes up to 19 times. If you want to go forward, you would go Command Shift Z. That goes forward in time. You notice some of the shapes, familiar shapes? Okay, now, what are we going to do with this selection? It's known as a selection because, well, A, it has the marching ants. That is a sign that it's a selection. But we can fill this with a flat color, as you know from our practice. So a shortcut to doing that is Option Delete, and Option Delete will fill with whatever foreground color you have in your toolbar. So right now I have a red fill, or a red foreground color. See, if I hover over it, it says Set Foreground Color. If I hover over the other one, it says Set Background Color. So there's a shortcut for both of these. For the foreground color, it's Option Delete. For the background color, this brownish color currently, it would be Command Delete. I can change those colors if I click on them. So I just clicked on the background picker. See, color picker, background color. I'm going to change that to this bluish color. And I'm going to click OK. Notice the change. And now Command Delete. But maybe I want red, so I'll just do Option Delete. But of course I can change that red to anything I want. And then do Option Delete. Now, what if you don't like this color at all? Well, what you can do is do Command Option Z and go back in time, and then I'm at my starting point, and I can do Command D to deselect. Okay? But what if you come to a point where, let's see, let me go, see if I can get back. Well, I can't. But let's say you come to a point where you just can't, actually I'm in the wrong one, so I'm going to go to Add to Selection. Okay, I'm going to say it again. What if you come to a point where you just messed up entirely and you just don't like it? Well, you can always do Command W to close and don't save. So Command W just closes your document. So let's say I don't save. So I'll click Don't Save. I'll go back to Command N. I'll fill in my project title and call it Selection Picture. And then I'm going to make sure it says 5 by 5. Click OK. There you go. Now, for this project, I'm going to ask you to make some kind of picture. In our practice, we made a little building, but I want you to make something more creative. Not that the building wasn't creative, but I want you to make your own picture, in other words. Now, I just changed from my rectangle to my elliptical tool. If I were to go ahead and drag out a circle, you notice what happened. Those rectangles became eliminated. I'm going to do Command Z because I want those to remain, but then I'm going to come up here and add to selection. Don't forget, when you change your marquee from rectangular to ellipse, you got to make sure you come up to the options bar and add to selection, otherwise it will disappear. If you are happy with the current image, you can fill it and then do Command D to deselect, and then you can build it up. So maybe I want to add to this. I have no idea what this is going to become. Maybe I want to add here and do Option Delete and continue to build up my picture. But in actuality, I don't really see anything. But notice what I'm doing. I'm just sort of creating something. It would help to have something in mind, but I'm just going to sort of wing it here. Let's see, what can I make? Okay, maybe it's an animal. Now, there's certain things that you're going to want to do that you will not be able to do, but I'm not going to reveal to you how to do it, because this is one of our first projects, and I don't want to give away too many things. The second project will help you understand why I'm not giving away a lot of things. But just go ahead and do your best. Make a picture using only the selection tools, because that's what it's called. It's the selection picture. And you can't use anything else. You can't use the paintbrush, the gradient, or anything else. Some of you know how to use those other things because maybe you had Photoshop in summer school or some other class. But I only want you to use the selection tools. Don't forget, there's the lasso tool. The lasso tool will provide you with some more free-form shapes, as you can see. Maybe this is an elephant. I don't know. Maybe it's not an elephant. Maybe it's just a really bad drawing. Well, you look at that. That is an ear. Alright, so I want you to have fun with this. Do as much as you can. Use up the entire period to create masterpieces. Don't worry if you have concerns about your drawing ability. But what I want you to do is use the entire period. Don't just stop and say you're finished and then have 30 minutes to go. Please use your time to the fullest. Thank you for watching, and I can't wait to see your pictures.